This week we are learning Parsha Vayelech. And he went. That's the basic translation. In this Parsha it starts from Moshe recounting the events during his last day of his earthly life. And he is saying the following. He starts from the following phrase: I am 120 years old, and I can no longer go forth and come in. Meaning by that he transfers his leadership to Joshua. And he concludes writing the Torah scroll, which he then passes on, entrusts to the Levites for safekeeping, the scroll must be kept in the Ark of the Covenant. Moshe proclaims God's commandment of Hakel, assembly of the whole nation, whereby every 7 years during the holiday of Sukkot, which follows the sabbatical year of the Shemitah, which is actually this year, all men and women and children will assemble, and the king will publicly read sections of the Torah. This Parsha Vayelech concludes with a prediction that the people of Israel will turn away from their covenant with God, and that will cause him to hide his face from them, and they will be subject to many evils and troubles taking place. And therefore God says to Moshe, write for yourself this song and teach it to the children of Israel. Place it into their mouths in order that this song will be for me as a witness. Yes, I'm talking about Hazinu, which is the narration of this song we will discuss next week in the next Torah portion. And that's the content of the whole Parsha. Israel's very existence, said Moshe, would depend on memory, on mission and morality, and remembering where we came from, what we called on to do, and how we called on to do it. We are the nation of the priests. Hence the great 612th commandment known as Hakel, or National Assembly. Hakel was a reenactment of the covenant ceremony at Mount Sinai, as per Rambam's statement. It was intended to remind the people of their history, the laws that they are called on to keep, and the principles that they must live by. It was a renewal of their inherited and chosen destiny, a reminder of the duties Israel owed to their ancestors. Their descendants, future generations as well, are dependent on this. And even the ones which not yet born, most of all, God himself wants us to keep these memories. What Moshe understood clearly is that a nation that loses its sense of purpose, the clear direction shown by strong leadership, cannot survive. Purpose does not come from nowhere by itself. No, it doesn't happen. It's shaped by historians, narration, and by prophets. It's taught in the synagogues, in schools and homes. It's rehearsed daily in prayers. Symbolically, it's enacted in rituals, like Passover Seder, for instance, and recalled periodically in Hakel-type gatherings, moments. The entire phenomenon represents a remarkable cluster of ideas about identity as a matter of collective memory, about the ritual retelling of the nation's story, above all, the fact that every one of us is a guardian of that story and of that memory. It is not the leader alone or some elite who are trained to recall the past. Nah. But every one of us must do that. This is an aspect of the devolution and democratization of the leadership that we found right throughout Judaism as a way of life. We all, every one of us, in some respect, is a leader. The great leaders tell the story of the group, but the greatest of leaders, like Moses, like Moshe, taught the group to become a nation of storytellers. By making the Israelites a nation of storytellers, Moses helped them turn into people bound by collective responsibility to one another, to the past and to the future, and to God Himself. By framing the narrative that successive generations would make their own and teach to their children, Moses turned Jews into a nation of leaders and storytellers. Look, we just celebrated the Rosh Hashanah of the year 5782, which is the year of Shemitah, the 7th year. Yes, which is when it means that in the land of Israel, no farmer will farm the land. One of the amazing facts about this is that this year, actually preceding the Hakhel, which what we were talking about a few seconds ago. It means that hundreds of thousands of Jews around the world will gather physically or via internet to study Torah once a month during this year, in preparation for the Hakhel on the second day of Sukkot of 5783, which is the 11th of October 2022. Which means hundreds and thousands of Jews will gather in the Kotel in Jerusalem, and probably it will be transmitted around the world. I am inviting you to do the same. What I'm talking about? After the last two Torah portions remaining for this Torah cycle, reading, I'm going to stop my weekly Torah blogs. It's a bit hard every week to prepare, and it's getting harder for obvious reasons. Instead, I am inviting you to join me on a once-a-month session via internet to study Torah together in preparation for the Hakhel. If you feel that you would like to join this small group, please, I don't have very high hopes, so please email me on this email address, chaimstorah@gmail.com, which I am displaying right now on the screen, with a request to join, and I will do my best to get these sessions organized via Zoom or Skype or WhatsApp. Remains to be seen how many people will be there. In conclusion, I would like to wish you all an easy fast over Yom Kippur, and may this supreme and holy day of forgiveness bring us all closer to each other and to the Creator. Shabbat Shalom.
ערננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך. ויחל לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
ערננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך.
ויחל לבבנו
לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
שלא נמוש ולא ניכלם ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד. שלא נמוש ולא ניכלם ולא ניכשל